Okay guys, here we are. Today we're going to look at hot water tanks. Hot water tanks are what is required to keep our water hot, and when we need hot water, it's a great system to have in the home. They're pretty much very reliable. When I inspect the hot water tank system, the first thing I look at is the top of it. I want to see if it's starting to rust out. Is there any kind of rust accumulating at the top of the hot water tank? Is the exhaust system piped correctly, and is it sloped properly out so that it vents out of the home properly? One thing about a hot water tank, the exhaust vent system should have a slope, a positive slope to vent outside of the home. So this one looks pretty good. There's no rusting here or anything that I'm looking at. So then I start wandering down and starting to look at the bottom of it. A lot of us don't know that you can take and adjust the temperature of the hot water tank down here where the thermostat is at. There's a thermostat on your hot water tank. This is a good situation here because we have two different types of hot water tanks here. This homeowner has two different types of hot water tanks. He's got an older system here. He's got a more up-to-date system here. So this is kind of a little tight area to work in, but try to explain to you guys as much as possible. So this one you can manually adjust by hand, and so can the other one. This one here, right here, this main arrow here, that's the average 110-degree temperature right there. But this main arrow here is where you want to set it in the wintertime. You may have to turn it up a notch in this home because they're in the basement, and when it gets colder in the basement, it takes water longer to heat up. So I tell the customers to turn it up a notch in the winter, and then in the summer, you might have to turn it back down a notch. This one's a little more updated unit, and it's the same principle. You have to come and adjust the system a little bit in the winter, and then turn it back down a little bit in the summer. This particular system here is piped in parallel, so if this one's providing enough hot water, this one won't have to work. But if it's not enough hot water because of the number of bathrooms and things like that, then they both work together to provide the heat the water system needed. Now, here's another important thing about hot water tanks, and every home should have this. This is a relief valve. A hot water tank is like a pressure vessel. So if it doesn't have a relief valve, it could actually blow up through the roof of the home. We've heard stories about that in home inspections for years. Now, it also should have a relief valve stem that goes down to the ground, a minimum of 4 inches above the ground. And that one's in good condition because it goes all the way down to the ground, about almost an inch off the ground. And that's good because if this hot water valve ever opened, this pressure relief valve ever opened here, then the water would fall down there on the ground instead of just spilling out and burning maybe your child right underneath it. So both of the units look to be in good shape. Again, this one has a tap to a humidifier water line also on it. So they both appear to be in good shape, no rusting. And another thing about hot water tanks, I like to tell customers when we're doing a home inspection, a hot water tank will tell you when it's going bad. It'll sound like a tea kettle. If it sounds like it's steaming or boiling, like you're boiling a tea kettle, then it's getting ready to go. The lifespan of a hot water tank is normally 7 to 9 years, depending on usage. But if you hear it sounding like a tea kettle, hey, you probably want to get the savings out, $500, $600, $700 for a new one. Also, if you hear a knocking sound, that's another indication that the unit could be ready to go. Thank you, guys.